actually she has someone come clean it. And the cleaner says, hey,
still here.
yeah, the person you have renting your room has not left. And she's like, what? They're supposed to be gone. She gets there, and then the video is so crazy because as she's telling the story, the lady who is now a squatter is in the shot. Is in the
she's
actual
like telling
video.
the story, and the lady walks by. She flips the camera, and she's like, and there she is, walking into my motherfucking kitchen.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Once Upon A BnB, and we're back. It's Anns.
This is Ian.
And Maha and little baby Janet. Oh my gosh,
Hey,
we finally got the
Janet.
intro right for the first time.
Yeah, and well, I don't want to get outshone, but Ghost is here too on the floor,
Whatever.
off
Hey,
camera.
Ghost.
Janet and Ghost have major beef. She was like going ham on him earlier. Not a fan. Janet's starting to get some recognition in our comments on TikTok.
I did see that.
Hello, world.
And no guest because my
Right.
guest, or well, we don't want to get into that. But my friend
This
Joel,
one you can have. Joel is definitely your
All right.
guest.
Joel ghosted us, so I guess I shouldn't be claiming that.
I really feel like it's the second time Joel ghosted us, but I can't like put my finger
This
on
is the
it.
guy from episode 41. I looked that up before we started.
Research.
Link in comments.
The tripping on acid in, where was he?
Tulum,
A few places, I feel
which is
Yeah.
I'm going in a couple weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
Have you been or no?
no, this is my first time in Mexico.
Oh, okay. What?
I know. It's
All of
near-
Mexico?
nearby. Yeah.
What?
I usually go to
Crazy.
South America because I'm
All right.
South American.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Forget about that.
Duh.
I don't know why I like rolled my eyes like he's not really South American.
Yeah,
and
but
he is.
Definitely is, but I forget.
I usually go home.
Right.
Well, but we're gonna talk about some other shit without.
I went home recently, but we'll talk about that later in the show.
Yeah, that went over my head, but now I get
Yeah.
it. The motherland. Yeah. All right, I was moving on to the new movie that's come out. That is an Airbnb movie. It's called. This doesn't let you think that it's called The Barbarian.
Which doesn't really
Which is
fit like
crazy.
the
Yeah.
trailer we watched.
No,
but
the trailer. You just sent me the link as this is the movie, the new Airbnb horror movie coming out. So I didn't know it was called The Barbarian. I'm watching. The plot is, I guess they get double booked, and so this guy's like, oh well, you know what? The neighborhood doesn't look that safe. Come
you
stay
should
with.
just stay here.
Yeah.
We'll call these idiots.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, you know what? You take the bedroom. It can lock. I'll take all this
Yeah.
shit. And then she goes in the basement and calling for
It
the
looked
guests.
very scary.
Spooky.
But it's called The Barbarian, which I did not expect.
Which is
at
really
all.
crazy
And
title.
I mean, I'm guessing that the other guest is obviously really the host, and this is something he's pulling. Like, what? I also booked this. Come on
Right.
in. I'm a
Yeah.
nice guy.
Keith
And
is
then,
not. Yeah, he's
Right.
up to something.
And the neighborhood did look weird. It's kind of like, why were you there in the first place? I'd love to know, like, why she was visiting the town.
That's pretty common with Airbnbs, though. You don't know the neighborhood. The Airbnb looks super cute, and then you look at the neighborhood and it's like, oh shit.
What the fuck?
I'm taking my staff to New Orleans this weekend for Essence Fest and booked a bomb ass Airbnb. But like I Googled the address, and the neighborhood is.
You're filming The Barbarian too.
Right, exactly. But yeah, that shit happens all the time with Airbnbs.
Surrounding areas. But yeah,
Right.
it definitely looked scary. I mean, she goes down to the basement, and obviously there's somebody down there.
Oh, no. And they co-signed, they name dropped.
There's so
the
many big
producers
names.
of It, The Grudge, and The
Ring.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
right. I guess and they're probably like loosely involved though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
One was
Period.
an executive producer of like one of those movies, which is
They get
kind
like
of
5 EPs on everything.
That's true, but
They
still,
probably just tried to branch out, do their own thing.
It wasn't named like a I agree. That wasn't named like a normal thing like The Rental on Netflix. Have you seen?
yeah.
Trey, our producer was telling me about
another
that.
Airbnb movie.
Yeah, that one's on
Mhm.
Netflix, and in the beginning, that one is like a little bit of prejudicial screening your guests because
That's right.
no photos, but they can still. It's like he
Based
did.
on- her last name was Muhammad.
Yeah, and then he
He
ended up regretting
declined her,
that.
and then her white boyfriend booked it, and he accepted it.
And then I don't know. I haven't seen it, but per the trailer, they start doing some drugs at the Airbnb, start having a
A
good
little
time,
hot tub action.
and then it goes south from there.
yeah.
Shit,
Well,
it's
they
They
crazy.
both
both look kind of good. I
scary.
love scary movies. You like
I-
scary movies?
They creep me out. I used to really like Saw, and I used to really like.
I love Saw.
I used to love Saw, but now I just can't even stomach it. I get really creeped out.
I feel like psychological thrillers like that
Yeah, I
are
like
super,
psych-
super
yeah,
loved.
I like
but
psychological
I'll take a
thrillers.
good gory horror film too.
Oh my God.
I'm one of the
gosh.
scream out loud type of people though. Like I'm very jumpy in general. Like if I know, like you could run across the down the hall and hide around the corner to hide and scare me, and I'll know you're about to do that, and I'm still
you'll
gonna
still
scream.
jump.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe you like scary movies then.
I do. I love scary
I look
movies.
away.
I like that
at the
feeling.
Gore, but I like,
Really?
I do
You're
like
not a
this
blood
the
and
whole
gore guy?
time.
No, I can't handle it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I was like,
cover
aren't you
my
supposed to be an
eyes.
accident attorney? I'm like, I'm not trying to be a doctor.
Right, you don't witness the accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cover my eyes and peek through. It's really bad.
What are you, 3? Who does that?
Basically. I do. I can't stomach it. And then one time I had to teach this short story. It was called, the real movie was called Antlers. Have y'all seen that? It's a scary movie. It was in theaters.
No.
But the short original story, I forget the title, but I taught the short story in class, and then we tried to watch the actual movie in class.
A short kid's story.
Yeah, it's like a short.
For the listeners, what grade are you teaching?
I teach seniors, so they can stomach it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So the actual short story is like really good, and then so I tried to show the horror movie in class, and it just was like it didn't go well.
He said for our listeners, what grade do you teach? Really, he meant for himself, clearly. He thought you were teaching little kids.
Oh, no,
I
I
times.
Yeah.
I call them kids, but they're like 18.
That's because you call them kids all the
I
time.
call my staff the kids, but they're like in their 20s.
Yeah.
Low
like,
20s.
They think they're like taller than me, bigger than me. Yeah. But I call them kids.
They probably are taller than you and bigger than you, but
They are.
yeah.
But they're kids to me. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of like Airbnb spinoffs, but a lot of crazy shit in real life is happening in the Airbnb world, such as this viral Twitter video that recently surfaced.
Was that in Atlanta?
I don't know where. I don't know.
Now we've reshared it on our Instagram, right?
Yeah.
At Once Upon A BnB.
Yes, followers, likes, comments. Okay, so in the video, there's a young lady who mentions, has a very southern drawl, and she says that she wanted
Black
to. True, there is a difference.
There's definitely a
She
difference.
wanted to, rent out a room to help pay her mortgage, get some extra funds, which not everybody, but a lot of people do. It's like a
Her
normal
setup was also
thing.
great.
Yeah.
She was like, I was just trying to be a real civil transaction.
Don't do the accent, but
Yeah, she was just trying to,
The accent?
get some extra funds.
Trying to quote.
You're right.
End quote. And so she puts, instead of going through Airbnb, which I'm thinking she didn't go through that because of the extra fees, and she just wanted a simple transaction. She just wanted the
Because she
cash.
didn't say anything about Airbnb. She's like,
say-
I put up a post asking for somebody to rent out my room, and I'm like,
I'm thinking maybe
on
like a
Craigslist
Facebook post. Yeah, Facebook or
Sounds
And
like.
she ran headfirst into squatters' rights.
Yes. So she puts out the post, and obviously somebody responds, and she goes on vacation. So she sets it up perfectly where she travels, and that way that person has a space to themselves for the entire time. And then they're supposed to be gone by the time she gets back. But she gets off vacation, ready to rest in her humble abode, and she arrives, and the person has not left. Actually, she has someone come clean it, and the cleaner says, "Hey,
still here."
yeah, the person you have renting your
Hard to clean
room
around.
has not left." And she's like, what? They're supposed to be gone. She gets there, and then the video is so crazy because as she's telling the story, the lady who is now a squatter is in the shot, is in the
she's like
actual
telling
video.
the story, and the lady walks by, she flips the camera, and she's like, and there she is, walking into my motherfucking kitchen.
Yes.
Hey, don't do the accent.
I can do the accent.
Yo, don't trust no Airbnbs. Okay, so I can't even talk right now. I'm so pissed off. I didn't even know this shit could happen, but this shit is real and this shit is really going on. Goddamn, I call myself trying to find a way to goddamn pay off my mortgage a little better, a little quicker, or whatever. So I put this ad out or whatever, saying I was looking for someone to sublease one of the rooms in my house or whatever. It was gonna be supposed to be like this real smooth transaction, whatever. Went on vacation or whatever. The person was supposed to be gone 3 days prior to my return. So I'm talking to my housekeeper or whatever, XYZ. She's like, yo, that person is still here in your house. What do you mean they're still in my house? They're supposed to be gone. So when I get back and touch down in the city, this is still here in my house, okay? Refusing to leave. So I didn't know what to do. I'm used to this shit. So I go down and I do there you go, y'all. Straight to the kitchen. I ain't going nowhere. So deal with it. On top of her ass just intruded into my home, she disrespected me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I've been trying to do the right way. I done went down there and got the all the paperwork that I need to do to get her ass evicted out my house, whatever. But that shit is a process. I have to go through protocols and all the other stupid legal blase bull. And then I just the police just left my house, and I'm like, get this out my house. They're like, oh, she's a tenant now. She's a tenant. There's nothing. You and the police, okay?
My door. That's all I know.
Your door. This is my house. How about you get the out of my house? How about that's what you do? How about you get the out of my house? How about you get the out of my house? How about you get? Slam the door.
Shit, always shit. Excuse me. You can record all you want. All you want, but I ain't going nowhere, okay? So deal with it.
This is what I'm dealing with, y'all. I'm Airbnb. So don't trust it. Don't do that. Make sure you know exactly who the you let into your house, because it is some freeloading motherfuckers who would just use you. Out my house. And then I call the goddamn police and oh, she's a tenant. She's a tenant. This is not no tenant in my house. What you mean? This is supposed to goddamn be gone. That's what she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be gone. The fuck? Is this
Call the police. Call the police, because I ain't going nowhere. Don't touch that door or I'm calling the police on you. And they're going to arrest you.
all that? Did you just, are you smoking in my house? Are you, this?
She's walking into the kitchen, eating up her food.
Oh, she's like straight to the kitchen. And
Straight to the kitchen.
The worst part is,
And she's a big bitch.
disrespectful.
And she's so upset because it's like she has no legal control to kick this woman out of her house. I mean, I'm sitting with
Squatters' rights
lawyers.
are a real thing.
Yeah, and I still am confused about the details between, okay, I can rent out this room versus I can stay as long as I like and you don't have any control over it.
And you can
I know squatters.
Right, which is crazy because that's literally what our last guest, or two guests, or no, our last guest, what her story was about. Like, same thing. She ended up getting arrested. Check out that episode, everyone.
Because my thing I've always imagined, just, you know, dabbling in real estate, is that squatters, they find empty homes and they squat until they can own the home and then pay down the taxes.
So basically, I mean,
that's like adverse possession, which isn't even a thing anymore in Georgia, which sucks. What a cool.
It was a cool concept.
Yeah,
The concept is that you just use this shit and no.
I didn't know it wasn't a thing anymore.
For 7 years, it's yours.
Mine now.
Which makes sense. No,
yeah, especially before, like, you know, like back in the day,
yeah,
it's like pretty easy to just like get away with just chilling. And
I think in some parts, I don't know if it was like Europe or if it was just like, I think it was in like Europe. I read a story a long time ago. It was like college students, they didn't have anywhere to live, and so they would just find these empty like mansions and they would just squat there. And they
mansions?
Were just, yeah, they were just like
mansions empty.
They were just vacant.
I'm in my winter house now.
Right, true.
And they would just live there.
Not a bad idea.
That line between like I can just live in someone's home and don't. I mean, at this point, everybody could do this.
So I'm not a property attorney, but generally to like kick anybody out of anywhere in Georgia, whether they have a right to be there or not, you have to go through the court system. Otherwise, like you will get in trouble and it's illegal. When I started my own practice, actually, my very first case I ever took was this couple that like lived in this high rise in Buckhead, and their landlord, something happened, like they were fucking up somehow. I don't remember how. They didn't pay rent or something like that. But he like locked them out of their own apartment and like locked all their shit in there, and that's super illegal. You can't do that no matter what. But that right actually extends to people who don't even have a right to be there. Like, you have to go through the courts and show they don't have a right to be there to get them out.
That is so crazy.
This shit's a motherfucking process.
Right, yeah.
Because I thought it was like a time limit. Yeah, in the words of the video. But in the video, as my co-hosts have lovely demonstrated, okay, is that she's fucking pissed.
Yes.
All right. The lady is eating her food, walking around the house.
I
ain't going nowhere. Call the police on me.
No,
don't touch my door.
Don't touch my door. I'm calling the police on you.
On you. And then towards the end of the video, she sits down to smoke a cigarette.
Yes, inside the house.
And she's like, this lady is smoking. She tries to follow her with a camera. She's like, I don't care if you're filming me. I don't care. In the video, her face is blurred out, but obviously she has no type of care. I mean, if you're homeless, need somewhere to go, it's kind of like, I don't care if you film me.
Rent an Airbnb for like 3 days and then stay forever.
Yeah. Stay forever.
All you must have enough cash to get that
Which
one
is
day.
so crazy. So you guys be careful out there. I mean, again, the law is really wild and it's just very interesting.
Be careful out there, but now you're mixing the two horror movies.
Yeah.
You've been careful how to You're like, I don't know. Are you homeless though?
Right. Do you have somewhere to go after
Right.
you stay here?
I don't even know, like, again, I'm not a property attorney, but I don't even know, like, what to tell people to avoid that happening.
Right.
There's not really a way. Like, if an Airbnb decides to do that, you're kind of fucked until you evict them through the courts.
The whole time I was like watching that video, being like, what the fuck? And as an attorney with an Airbnb, I was like, I would kick that bitch out. Like, I would just, she'd just go, she leaves for 1 second. I would, she's getting out of there. There's no way. I would
Because then y'all said it would be illegal to like turn the power off or like turn the water off.
People do illegal shit as landlords all the time.
Right,
like,
definitely.
You're being soft if you can't get that fucking tenant out of there,
It's so
I don't
wild.
even know. What would you do? I don't know what I would do. Like, I
would have to do
go
something
jail.
illegal.
Like,
I would have to turn everything off.
Right.
There's actually...
She was saying, don't touch my door. I would take the door off the hinges and be like, I own this door. What are you going to do? Because, I can't kick you out, but there's no rules about what I could do
It would just be
inside.
so uncomfortable.
Especially if you live there, too. Like, if you
her
don't
out.
also live there, but this was the place where she lived. Like, if it's not a place that you live and you turn off the utilities and stuff or whatever, cool. But if you live there, too, and you fucking
And
just
how
don't
did
pay
she
your bills
get
or
there?
whatever.
Where's her car? Did she get dropped off by Uber?
I don't know.
With so many
it's
missing-
kind of genius. Honestly,
honestly
like,
genius.
Yeah.
Homeless.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
Regardless.
like, it's lovely that we have a law that protects people who may be in situations where they can't get kicked out and there may be a disagreement or an argument.
Landlords
But
figure
this
out
is
how
crazy.
to beat that system, and then
Every time.
unsuspecting victims like are.
There's no shortage of slumlords here, but
they I don't know that also kind of, not to make it this movie day, but there's a 1990 movie where Michael Keaton plays the tenant that won't go away. It's
Really?
called Pacific Heights, and there's
I think
starts
I've
out
heard
with like little discriminate. Like I think Michael Keaton like fucks with the applications, and then the black family that applies for it. They think that like they just like racistly like no, and then like they got what's coming to him when this other guy, but the Michael Keaton like got in there and somehow fucked with their application, and so then Michael Keaton gets in there and just starts doing fucked up stuff. It's been like probably I don't know. Movie came out 30 years ago. It's probably been like 15 years since I've seen it the one time, but
never even heard of that movie.
it's on before the rental, before the Barbarian. There was
There's a
Pacific
Michael
Heights.
Keaton movie. What's it called?
Pacific Heights.
I think I've heard of that title before. I don't know why.
I'd heard of the Barbarian as a title before, but it wasn't about Airbnb.
I think it was a
Nothing about
cartoon.
Airbnb, yeah.
I think, isn't the Barbarians? I know that. Okay, no.
Maybe. I don't know.
Familiar? No? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sending prayers to the owner of that home who can't get the tenant out.
She's out by
Sometimes
now.
I
Well,
wish.
with COVID too, like the courts are so slow. Like it used to be like you file an eviction. I think the rule was like it was something like 14 days or something that it had to be heard by the court. But now, who fucking knows?
Do y'all ever wish y'all were put in certain positions just to see what you would do?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's one of those situations where I just wish I was just put in that position.
I play out fake scenarios in my mind like all day.
Just to be like, what would I do? I do that
Yeah.
with scary movies too, though. If I do choose to watch one,
Yeah,
like,
me
what the
too.
fuck would I do? And I was getting like the
I got
viral.
shit what they're doing.
The viral. Have you seen the viral TikToks where everybody's getting chased by Michael Myers and they have to run and see how quickly they can open the door and get away?
No.
It's viral. It's a thing.
I'm not a TikToker.
Yeah, I don't
but
use it yet.
TikTok crosses over to Twitter.
I
I'm a
literally
Twitter
only
girl.
get on-
I'm
not a
B&B's
Twitterer.
on TikTok though.
Right.
We
That's the only
are.
time I get on there is to see how many likes we got. Which, by the way, we have like 150 views on one of our clips.
150,000.
150,000 views. Yeah, sorry, 150 is. No, I get that, but yeah, on Eric, our buddy.
Shout out to Eric
Shout out. What?
and follow us on TikTok.
So we're basically famous now.
Essentially,
So you
Pretty
just
much.
came back from a trip, which might have been your last trip without being recognized. Well, maybe not internet.
I know now
We'll
that
see.
I'm famous, you know, it's hard out here. But yeah, I got back from the motherland, like a week and a half ago or so. Egypt, for those who don't. I'm like looking into the camera a lot this episode. It's a thing I'm trying.
That's because we have added a camera to face Maha's face.
No, it's gone. It's not even there. We talked about it. It never happened.
That went over my
it
head.
didn't make it past
I was like,
production.
guys, you like can't see my face in these videos. Can I like have my own camera, please? But
I
anyways.
assumed that they said yes. But I was
they did, and I don't know what happened. It's gone. I
they
think 'cause
told
we
me
don't
not to
have
move. They
guests,
were like,
but-
"Don't move."
Right. Well, you can.
Maybe
move
she
now.
won't notice.
There's no camera there. Yeah.
Which reminds me, Shafi, we're going to Toronto for the first wedding that I'm a part of now. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not in the closet anymore.
Yeah. But she sent her dresses to get altered, and the guy, like, and the rest of the family just returned hers without having been touched, and billed them for it.
What?
What?
Yeah, maybe they won't notice.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Crazy.
He's like, yeah, totally did it.
Yeah.
Maybe you gained weight or lost weight or whatever would make sense in this scenario.
But she's still gonna look nice.
I don't know. Hopefully that situation works itself out. I don't know. Maybe the wedding's ruined.
Maybe. Who's
Anyways,
wedding?
it's one of her cousin's wedding, so it's the first time. Like, again, I'm not a dirty little secret.
Yeah.
Dirty little secret.
All right, so Egypt. This was actually my first time back to Egypt in like 7 years. I was supposed to go this past Christmas, but got COVID like 3 days before I was supposed to go. And it was crazy because I was going with my brother and my sister-in-law and my friend Anna, who has been a guest on the show several times. And my brother and sister-in-law got COVID as soon as they got there. They got it here, but they tested positive as soon as they got there. So they were like on lockdown the majority of the trip. Neither here nor there. Anyways, I went to Egypt.
Real quick, did they test?
They were testing every day. Like
that's what Egypt does to you?
No, they were testing every day before they got there and when they got there.
Why?
Just because, that's like the Omicron when everybody was getting it,
yeah.
And like I had it, and they hadn't really been around me, but my brother had so they left on a Sunday, and that Saturday was my brother's holiday party for his company, and they went
super spreader event, huh?
Yeah, so I already knew because I had gotten it from like holiday parties too, like right before that, and I was like, literally everybody I know has COVID right now. Like, if you go to any public gathering, you're gonna get.
I got
COVID.
it in December too.
That went.
Everybody
I missed
did.
it then, and then I got it. In Spain, previous episode.
Which I probably had it then too from the
that's
bachelor
true.
party, but
Well, you think your antibodies would
I might have given it to them. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
I probably gave it to them, left. They gave it to the whole wedding
right, patient
afterwards.
zero.
Right. I did have a little hacking cough, but who knows? Anyway.
God damn it, Maha.
I know. Whatever. At this point.
So your family brought COVID to Egypt.
Yeah.
You brought it to Spain.
And after my brother and
Damn
sister-in-law
Americans.
got it, all of Egypt fucking got COVID. Like, I swear they brought it there.
Damn
We are
Americans.
super spreaders. But anyways, Egypt. So I made up for this last trip. It was really awesome. And I went like places I hadn't been before in Egypt. So first, of course, spent a couple days in Cairo. Had to do the family thing, blah, blah, blah. Ate good food, whatever. But then we went to Siwa, which is in the Western Desert, which has kind of recently gone viral on like the internet because it's in the middle of the desert. There's these like saltwater pools that are like not just regular salt water, but like the Dead Sea, like super, super, super concentrated salt so that you float like on top of the water.
I was wondering how y'all were floating in those pictures. I was like, y'all can really swim.
We can really swim, but also the
But,
water
like,
is like
float, like
it's impossible to not float. So like if you try to swim down, it's gonna like.
I was
push you
like,
back
wow.
up. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's beautiful because it's like super bright blue, crystal clear water, like in the middle of the desert
looks
with
beautiful.
like white around the edges and stuff.
I would have cried.
It was really awesome, but it was in the middle of the desert and it was like a 9-hour drive from Cairo. There's no flights or anything.
Wow.
So the drive there was a bitch, and they stopped. There's so many checkpoints on the way. They stopped us at every checkpoint, and when they found out like he had Americans in the car, he's like searching the whole car and stuff. And what they usually do in Egypt, it's not that they're anti-American.
Yeah.
No, it's actually the opposite. Like if you're American, they send they send insurance with you. They send cars behind you to make sure nothing happens to you. They don't want anything to happen to an American in Egypt. So we actually had to like sign paperwork saying that I declined the insurance. Like I don't want cars driving. No, you don't pay for it. But we were just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
We're smoking in the car and shit. Like we're like, no, thank you. Luckily, they didn't find any of that in the 10 searches we went through. But so we get to Siwa, and it's very much like the resorts are like no AC, very like Bedouin, like deserty, very like there's a lot of like the natural hot springs like built into a lot of the places, which smell like sulfur, but they're like really good for you. So we like find one of these places, book there. Go to this restaurant there, and it's like the ground is all sand. We're in the desert. There's not like real flooring. It's kind of an outdoorish restaurant, and there's like a billion cats there. I'm like, whatever.
Wow.
We eat. Food's good. I get home.
Because they love cats.
Egyptians? Ancient Egyptians did. Yeah, we're cool with them too, I guess. There's still a lot of cats in Egypt.
You hold a cat-sized dog and say that.
They do. So Muslims in general, like cats are cool to have in the house, but dogs are considered like not clean.
Thank you.
Like you can't pray where like a dog has been on the ground or whatever, but cats for some reason are clean, dogs are dirty. But anyways, we get back from that restaurant, my feet are covered in flea bites. Like worse than the mosquito bites in fucking Brazil. Like, I'll show y'all pictures or we'll add the pictures to this, but like my feet are swollen and I still have scars from the goddamn flea bites. I didn't know that flea bites
Did everybody
Just me. I don't know why. But my feet were covered in flea bites, and those things itch so bad. Apparently, fleas love feet. That's a thing. Feet and elbows. My elbows, too, are like covered in flea bites. I was worried it was.
But where are the fleas coming from?
I guess the cats / the sand.
Wow.
I don't know. There are sand fleas, cat fleas, a mixture of both, whatever. Either way, that made the rest of my trip kind of suck. Sand fleas are definitely a thing. Or is it sand flies?
But it's like, what would you wear? Like I guess sometimes you do see images of people with like boots and like.
Yeah, like covering up.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. We were just at a restaurant. This wasn't even the desert yet. But so then the next day we go to like the desert to go to the saltwater pools, which was gorgeous, but it was the most like Instagram versus reality situation ever. Because like the videos, you'll see the videos, it's just like beautiful, you know, like you're floating on top of the water and it's got the salt around the edges and it's like crystal clear blue. And then you pan to the right and it's fucking bulldozers and machinery mining the salt like right next to you, like loud and ugly and
so not even
whatever.
Just like peaceful and serene.
Yeah, right. I wanted to make an Instagram versus reality thing. Like I tried to get them to take a video where they pan from one to the other.
And they were like, hell no.
Nobody did it successfully. But anyways, and the fucking like bulldozer drivers and stuff were like, oh shit, bitches in swimsuits. Like they stopped working and were staring and stuff. But the saltwater
construction workers.
Cool. Yeah, pretty much. They're the same around the world, construction workers, but you're so buoyant in the water that like if you're standing up, you're almost it looks like you're like walking on the water almost, and then it hit me. I was like, what if this is what Jesus did?
Jesus?
What if it was just the Dead Sea and it was super
just
salty?
buoyant?
Yes, and people thought he was walking on water. It is where he lived.
You're making
I think
connections.
I just solved a like 4,000 year
two
old
Jesus moments.
2,000? Yes.
Last time with the New Orleans story, we almost converted you.
Oh, yeah. I did accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior that day. Oh, my
and
God.
now we have Jesus walking on water.
Dude, I think I just solved a, like, centuries... What is 1,000 years called? Millennia long, multi-millennia long thing. Jesus didn't walk on water. It's just the Dead Sea is super salty. But anyways.
It's been a minute since Catholic school, but I think you're right.
I really feel like that could be it.
It could be a probability for our science people out there.
But because it's so salty, like you can't put your face in it or your eyes or anything like that because it's like literally like when you get out, you have salt on you, like caked up salt on you in your hair and everything.
Wow.
So as we're swimming and stuff like that, this group of like college guys pulls up and like get in, and one of them tries to fucking show off and dives in head first into the salt, and everybody's like, no, because it's you do not want that anywhere near your face. Like I think I like a drip from my hair got in my eye or something, and I was
burning.
dying. Yeah,
man.
That would be
this
mean.
guy dove in head first. And then, like, he's trying to act like it's cool, it's fun, it's no big deal, but he's dying. So he's, like, pouring water on himself for, like, an hour.
A douche.
Dying, yeah, so douchey. He thought it was going to be so cool diving into the water.
Check it out.
Right. But, yeah, so we did that. And then the next night on the way back, since it was, were we there 2 nights? The first night, we didn't do anything. Second night was first night was the flea bite. Second night was the saltwater pools. Third night, driving back, because it's such a long drive, we camped in the desert. So I've never been camping, period, in my life. This was my first time camping.
Desert for...
Fucking amazing, dude. It was the best experience ever. So Sahara Desert, like all these crazy dunes. We're like in a Land Rover, and he's riding it like a goddamn 4-wheeler. Like we're riding sideways on dunes, going like straight down dunes and shit. Super cool. We go to an oasis in the middle of the desert. This is a freshwater oasis. And, like, go in there, and we're swimming and stuff. And when we get in the water, there's this Egyptian family in there already. Like, the woman is wearing a hijab. It's, like, her husband, and, like, their 2 sons. And, you know, we look American. Like, the whole time I'm in Egypt, nobody thinks I'm Egyptian. I don't know why. My swag, my accent, everything. They're just like, where are you from? And I'm like, here. They're like, no, you're not. But anyways, and then we've got Anna with us, who's, like, a blonde white girl. So it's me, my best friend Amira, who lives in Egypt. She's Egyptian, too. But, you know, we're speaking English and stuff without an accent. We get in the water. We're in swimsuits. These people are obviously conservative, so they don't think we speak Arabic. And they're like, oh, my gosh, look at them, blah, blah, blah. And the son is like, Baba, you can't look. You're married, but I can. And, like, repeats that multiple times. And I'm like, I'm going to just let them keep talking. So they, like, kept talking.
The Daenerys Targaryen thing?
Yeah.
All right.
What'd you say?
So our tour guide's name is Muhammad. Muhammad, and he's like up at the top while we're in the water, so they're like talking all this shit and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, Muhammad, like super Egyptian. Like if you're Egyptian, you know, like that's a very Egyptian way to say that. I was like, yeah, Muhammad, هات الموبايل بتاعتي, and they're like, the family was like, oh, انتوا بتتكلموا عربي? Like, oh, you guys speak Arabic? And we're like, yeah, we're Egyptian. Yeah, we understood all of that. And it was the best moment of my life. And the wife was
awesome.
like, the wife was shaking her head at the son, and the husband like, you guys are over here talking about I can look and you can't look and blah, blah, blah.
I didn't look.
Yeah. And they left immediately, but it was such a fulfilling
amazing.
moment. It was the best. Yeah, it was really great.
I always want to do that in
Are
the
y'all Game of
shop.
Thrones watchers? Annsleigh, you too?
I've watched the last like few episodes because
I
everybody's so
probably
into
watched.
So you know the scene I'm talking about where she's sitting there and she's like,
Oh yeah.
and she's got the dragon and they're talking shit about that blonde whore or something like that, and she's like, Jakaris.
And then she burns everybody.
Yeah. She's like,
Oh,
but she-
shit.
You don't understand. So
It's a
they're
great
talking shit about her.
episode.
She's like selling her dragon. She's got 3 dragons. She's selling one of them to pay for this army. So they bring this army she's about to trade the dragon for. And the guy's like talking shit about this blonde whore is what he's calling her. And then all of a sudden she just, similar to your story, just drops like, blah, 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 in Valerian or whatever this made up language is. And then he's like, oh shit, this lady's known everything we've said. And then boom, in the same language that they just been talking shit to her as, she's like, dragon, throw your fire at all them. And then just does that shit.
shit.
And then all the soldiers kill them. It's pretty tight.
It was a
did
great
that.
episode.
That actually happens like quite often. Not quite often, but it's happened to me a few times. And then my mom, like, so when we're here, we obviously speak Arabic so people don't know what we're saying. But she forgets and goes to Egypt and says shit in Arabic and forgets that everybody speaks Arabic there. So that happens to her often. That actually happened to her. She was getting like her eyelashes done or something by these Korean women in Egypt. Don't know why she assumed they didn't speak Arabic, but she was talking like big shit. Like,
Oh my gosh,
these
Mom.
fucking Koreans don't know what they're doing and blah, blah, blah. And they like responded to her in Arabic and she's like, oh my God.
Well, because y'all think you can get away with it. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I would never think, not that my Spanish is any good, but like,
Well, Spanish, because like you never know who speaks Spanish, right?
exactly. So
But we
whereas
assume nobody speaks
like
Arabic.
Shafi and her brother, where they're like, you need to learn Urdu. That's our secret language. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And they're right. Like, the chances
Yeah.
of anyone else understanding that.
Exactly.
You know.
That
Yeah,
happened to my
very
grandma
small.
on the plane train in Atlanta. Like, she was sitting, like, on the seat, and this dude came and sat, like, super, super close to her. And she's like, well, why don't you just sit in my lap? And then he responded. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize, blah, 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 in Arabic. But anyways, so camping in the desert. Fucking awesome. After the, like, oasis, we go to, like, the campsite and set up. And there's, like, tents and stuff already set up. They're already cooking for us. The way they cook is they have, like, these barrels that are, like, metal like oil barrels. They bury it in the sand and like fill it with coals and like have like a rack in there and put all the food in there and bury it in the sand and it cooks in the sand. But so they're like cooking the food and stuff, and we are sand duning on like snowboards but for the sand. So fun. I tried to do it standing up. I got scared, sat back
So you,
down.
like,
So I just
sit
sat
and-
on the board. I was basically
yeah.
sledding on it. Super cool also. We're smoking hash the whole time.
Can I say,
like-
what's the temperature like?
So
In the desert.
the Western Desert was definitely really hot during the day, but so we didn't hit the desert until like later in the evening, like
Okay.
close to sunset.
Mm-hmm.
So and you know we were in the water and stuff like that. It wasn't like
Crazy.
honestly, it was just as high, if not hotter, in Atlanta because that dry heat versus the humidity, game changer. Like 110 in dry heat is what 95 feels like here with the humidity.
Gotcha.
But you know we were like playing in the sand dunes and stuff like that, and then. Like it gets dark and like of course you can see all of the stars and like we watch the moon set. We climb the sand dunes, but it's so dark, like it's so
romantic.
pitch black out there that like perception's really weird. And it's the desert, so you know during the day like there's like mirages and stuff like real life. Like it looks like
You
there's
saw
water. But
mirages.
yeah, you always do in the desert. Like if you look at the horizon, it always looks like there's water, but it's just a mirage. But anyways, nighttime comes. When you're climbing these dunes at night, it's so dark that like you can't tell how far things are. It was really weird. I was like, I don't know. I feel like we're climbing a whole mountain. And Anna's like, I feel like it's 5 feet away at the top. But yeah, so we like watched the stars and the moon outside at night. We didn't even sleep in the tents. Like they cooked the most amazing food. They made like whole chickens and like rice and vegetables and all this stuff.
They? You had like a tour guide?
So we had the tour guide who, like, it's not even a company or something. It's just some dude that my friend knows. And then, like, a Bedouin guy. Like, there's people that, like, they're Bedouins. They, like, live in the desert, but their job is basically, like, hosting shit like this, like, tourists and stuff. So he was doing all the cooking and stuff, and he was playing us, like, they're, like, I won't say they're native music, but they speak a language that is nothing like any language I've heard. It's not a tiny bit Arabic. It's not like similar to any other language.
People that live in the desert.
Yeah. Well, this part of the Western desert, the like Bedouins there, it's like this weird ass. I don't even know where it came from, but he's playing us like their music and stuff like that, and we were just vibing out there. It was so awesome.
That sounds like a fucking blast.
Yeah, my first time camping, and it was the best. But
so where'd y'all sleep?
So we just slept. There was tents, but we were like, fuck that. We want to sleep under the stars. So we just slept like it's like little like mats, kind of like slept outside. It actually gets kind of cold at night, so I slept by the fire. I woke up like covered in coals and dust and stuff from the fire. But the crazy part is we woke up and had so many feet prints of so many different things all around us. Well, first of all, before we even went to sleep, we were walking. I kid you not, a spider this fucking
Hell
big.
no.
A spider bit Anna while she was asleep. She woke up, her arm was swollen like this. Amira woke up in the middle of the night because something crawled over her feet. So I woke up and there's little feet prints all around me like that look just like baby Janet's feet prints. It was like paw prints, but like real small. I think it was a weasel because we have weasels but they basically look like ferrets.
Oh, wow.
That was that all around. There's like, desert ferrets and there's like desert foxes too. Could have been some of those, like all kinds of shit. But it was like 7 different sets of prints all around us. Like, do y'all watch Naked and Afraid at all? Well, they have like like night vision cameras on them at night, and you can see like all the shit that happens. I wish we had that. It would have been wild. But anyways, very cool experience. Left there and went to Luxor, which is in Upper Egypt, which is actually the bottom part of Egypt. That's where like all the temples are. It's like the Valley of the Kings and like King Tut's temple and all that, which I've been, but I haven't been since I was like 16. So it's like I was learning everything over again. And goddamn, if Egyptians didn't invent fucking everything.
Pretty much.
Like literally everything. And all 3 monotheistic religions, like completely based on ancient Egyptian like religion. Like the Ankh is the cross. They had like a virgin birth in ancient Egypt. Like so many things were similar.
All like similar stories, yeah.
And it's just so cool to see all like oh, this is 5,000 years old. Oh, this like it's really cool. So
I wanted to be an archaeologist for the early parts of my life.
Really?
I wanted to be Indiana Jones.
That's where they filmed Indiana Jones was in Luxor.
Yeah.
Luxor is like one of like it's awesome. Like if you're gonna go to Egypt, there's a cruise that takes you to Luxor and Aswan, which is pretty awesome down the Nile. Very cool. That's the last time I went. Cool. We did the cruise, but I was with my family. I was like 16. I don't remember that shit, and didn't care at the time. I'm like whatever.
I'm gonna get drunk.
Yeah. Anyways, Egypt.
That was
Moral of the story: best place ever. If you ever get a chance to go, fucking do it. Birthplace of civilization.
So our listeners know what to do, where to go if you're ever visiting Egypt.
And obviously see the pyramids. This is, I think, probably one of my first times going to Egypt and not going to the pyramids because that shit never gets old. But yeah, definitely. See what? Awesome. Hard to get to. Camping in the desert. I don't care what desert. That shit was awesome. And then Luxor is definitely on top of my list.
Spider-bitten BFF.
Yeah, right. Shit is all right.
I would have freaked out if I saw a spider. But I would have thugged it out.
I'll send the video of the spider, too. It was not just a spider. Like, that shows Baby Janet-sized spider.
I think in one of our episodes, I think you guys should, like, give helpful tips for people who want to just, like, avidly travel. Like,
hey, just
definitely.
Piece them together from all the different...
Well, hit me up, and I'll connect you with my guide. He was awesome. But he was, like, the Egyptian version of, like, a stoner dude here, which was really funny. Just, like repeating the same phrases all the time and stuff. Like,
I guess you got to be, like, on that wave to live off the grid in the desert.
Right, yeah.
Like off the whole grid. This was fun, guys. Fuck a guest.
Yeah, who needs a guest? I'll talk all day.
All right, well then, has that been another episode of Once Upon A BnB?
I think so. It's Ann's.
Oh, Ian.
And Maha and Janet is asleep now in my lap.
And Ghost.
Later,
we'll see y'all
guys.
next time.
Off camera